welcome to our talk show. This is a first show, and it feels great to have you all on the first show.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, so we have Akshay, Akriti, Madhumita, Ankita, and Bela with us. Yeah, hello, so let's start. Right, so the first concept, or the first thing that we want to talk is the importance of communication in marketing. Okay, so I want to understand what you think about it. Okay, so why do you think communication is the most important element in the marketing process? Okay, so I would like to start with Akshay first.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for introducing us, sir. It feels great to be here. So I think communication is a basis to all kinds of relationships in the world, whether it be seller and consumer or wife and husband, friendships. It's a basis to everything. So I think all the great ideas became great. So that great only because of the communication. An idea can be successful. We can call an idea successful depending on the extent of its reach, right? And it depends on the communication, the way it is communicated to the people. So I think that shows the importance of communication in marketing.
Oh, wonderful. Good start, Akshay. And Akriti, what do you think?
Thank you, sir, for the warm welcome. Basically, a man is a social being, and he cannot live without the company of others. Therefore, it's very, very important and very crucial to communicate with one another. If we are not able to pass on our message from one person to another, which is the main and crucial task of marketing, I think everything will go completely waste. So communication is the building block for marketing process, and communication helps us to disseminate our information as well from one person to the rest of the people very easily and in a very effective manner.
Wonderful. A very good way to look at communication. And Madhumita, what do you think? You're on mute, Madhumita.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the warm welcome. I myself welcome to all of them. It's a pleasure to be here all together. And according to me, communication is a very good skill in order to interact and communicate our values and our products in front of the customers. So not only in the respect of marketing, but also we actually communicate with everyone around us. And that is the most important thing when we live all together socially, publicly. That is how we connect to each and every individual in and around us, whether it is a family member, whether it's a relative, neighbors, or at a public concert, whichever place we are moving on, we are living in. The best part to communicate with each other, interact, be socially communicative and interactive. So communication plays a very important role in our life and in everyone's life. Moreover, in the field of marketing, I suppose, until and unless we communicate our product, our services, our credentials to the customers, it becomes very easy to them also to interact and communicate with us, and to us to let them know what we are speaking about, what we are telling about, what our customer and what our product is actually coming up for them in public.
Great. So I really like to know how you actually, kind of, brought the marketing aspect into the communication. Like, you talked about the social angle, you talked about, the product and how do we inform, the details of the product to the consumers. That's wonderful. And Ankita, what do you say?
So I, first of all, it's great to listen everyone's point of view. And yeah, now basically we are communicating. We are communicating our thoughts here. Like we are communicating our points on communication. So recently I came across a very nice quote by Dan Oswald, which said communication must be hot. It should be honest, open, and two ways. Now, businesses have so many opportunities to market themselves, and they have the greatest opportunity like ever, which is getting the feedback, having a two-way communication. So why not utilize it? So when the world out there is full of opportunities and full of new experiences, and we can get that with good communication is what I feel. So yeah,
Wow.
communication, like my other friends are saying, it's the key to every market, every business, every person, every team. So yeah.
Wonderful. And Bela?
Yes, sir. Thank you for inviting me into this. Uh, as rightly said by others, communication is the key to success, or I should say that communication um, is a vital skill that is required for any company's success. You can say that it is most vital to marketing because it actually brings everyone on the same page. You listen to your clients, you try to come up with those solutions so that whatever they need, you are able to solve that. So if we see this for any marketing strategy to work best, excellent communication skill is the key skill set because it helps you to create a very unique emotional bond with the clients. It gives you uh, many benefits basically. So you need to be very effective when you're communicating in the marketing field. This is what I think.
It's a very interesting point. Well, we understood from each of you, the importance of communication. Okay, so let's go a little deeper into it. Right? Everybody says communication is good and we should do communicate well. Okay, but I would like you to share certain tips on what exactly people who are trying to communicate need to know. Okay, out of your own experience. So can you give them some kind of tips which they can use immediately? Yeah, please, Madhumita.
It's like when we are interacting with the customers, uh, we have to be specific enough regarding our product, what it is, what are the features and properties available for them particularly, and as we have seen and gone through the buyer persona. So in our mind and thoughts, while we are actually promoting our product in front of them, we have to be specific enough and have that idea in our mind while communicating what they actually are looking forward to in our product when we are publicly advertising them in front of. So we have to be specific enough those particular points which we think our customer would be requiring, and this is how we can communicate and advertise our product in front of them.
Yeah,
So
that's
being
a very,
specific.
yes, that's a very important point, right? So being specific, communicating the specific, benefits, what it does, right? That specific communication is very important. And sometimes we see that the communication is very vague and we don't know what to take it from that, right? So that's a very good point. And what about Akshay?
I think it's important to use sensible words while dealing with the customers, because one wrong word can throw the whole product out of their head. So a good communicator is capable enough to sell a bad product, and a bad communicator is he won't be able to selling a good product. So I think the words are important.
Words are important. Yeah, being specific is important. Words are important. Yeah, Akriti, what are you saying?
Words, basically, yes, saying the right message at the right time to the right customer. That is also very important because someone who is actually in need of that product, it's always good to reach your specific target audience. If you
Right.
keep on rumbling about people who actually will never use your product and you are marketing in front of them, I think all your energy, time, efforts, everything will go into waste. So effectively catching on your target audience is very important.
Okay, wonderful. So Bela, what do you say?
So I feel that we have to be transparent over here.
Mm.
When we are trying to do the communication and all, an effective communication, builds the brand. And if you try to be completely transparent, you can start building your brand on those grounds, and your trust starts building. The brand starts getting the trust that is required. So I
Okay.
feel being transparent is very important while you're communicating your brand, creating a brand image for yourself.
Okay. That transparency is important. Yes, very nice. And Ankita,
Yes, listening to what Akriti and Bela said, I would like to add some more points to it. So, every brand is providing communication these days. Every brand is trying to communicate as effectively as possible. So, according to me, there can be three segments where we can put our communication in. Like, we can either be motivational, or we can show the trust, or we can show some values of our brands to the audiences. So if we, people are filled with emotion, if we try to, hit that emotional quotient of people, that would be great. And that's why we can motivate them. And because, for every brand, people need some trustworthy factors. So yeah, we can show a trustworthy message, and we can show our values, obviously, that what we are, what is our USP and all those things.
okay, that's very valid point. Like, a structure for communication, like, we can motivate them, we can show them the value, we can show them the trust. Okay. So that's wonderful. So I would say these are all like, theoretical concepts, but in the practical sense, right? As a marketer, what are all the things that you need to do to communicate your brand better, say on day-to-day basis? So what are all the areas wherein, you have the chance to communicate uh, in a better way? Because as you know, today's world is very dynamic, right? 20 years ago, we didn't have so many communication channels, right? People were only looking at newspapers or TVs or hoardings, or they were listening to radio. But today, it's not like that. You cannot just put a message there and wait for something to happen later, right? Today, it's very dynamic. People are exposed to lots of communication channels. So in today's world, what is going to be your day-to-day activity as a communicator, as a marketer? Can you just throw some light on to that?
So I feel the first thing or the way that we can communicate is advertising. This is kind of, we can say it's a non-personal form of communication, and it is kind of, it persuades your audience. You can say it actually has the four objectives. It tries to inform, it tries to persuade, it also tries to differentiate, and it keeps reminding you that that particular product is there. So I feel advertising, is one of the modes that we can communicate. An effective communication is what I feel.
Okay, very good. So yeah, how about Akriti? What do you say?
As what Bella ma'am said, that advertising is most effective form of communication, for in-person form of communication. So yes, everyone is there on social media networks. Everyone is there, on their phones all the time. So when everyone is, at just a click away, then I think we should, completely explore all the social media platforms exhaustively, because that is the place wherein people spend most of their time in day-to-day life.
Okay, so social media, very important.
Yes, very, very.
Okay, cool. And how about Madhumita?
I totally agree with Bela ma'am's and Akriti ma'am's points. It's the best way to interact and get communicated with the customers. Moreover, as ma'am said, to persuade, to differentiate, as well as to tell them about our products in a best way possible, best to advertise. And as Akriti also said, best way is to publicize our content and our advertisements on the social networking sites. Moreover, we can have flash messages, we can have normal messages also, direct text messages, WhatsApp groups, most of the ways that we can connect to, advertise, and be specific about all the details that is specifically required and query. I mean, customers often query about what are we going to profit, how much investment is required, how much time will it take, what is the time period duration of it, all to be together specifically allotted and placed in between, I mean, informed into the ways of advertisements in a short span of time.
Okay, so advertising, social media, so these are all fine. But do you think only ads, running ads is sufficient for you to make the communication? Akshay, what do you say? Yeah, please.
Marketing is a constant process to remind people that their needs are being fulfilled by using a product, or how it brings a positive change in their lives. So it's important to be on the right platform. Depending on the product, it's important to showcase what are the benefits a product gives, or how it changes their lives. So yeah, that's me.
Okay. So communicating the benefits. So that is very good. So my question is it enough if you just communicate, the benefits it does? Okay, is that enough, or do you need to communicate in different ways to tell people, or to give information more than just the product? Okay, so do we need to communicate in that angle also? Right. So selling is one definitely good thing, right? You tell the benefits, you tell why you are better than someone else. But is that it? Right? If you just tell the benefits, would people buy from you today?
No, they reconsider.
Reconsider, right? Because people have choices. They have many choices today, and everybody tries to communicate good. Right? Because everybody believes in their product. They can easily change the words. But in that context, how do you differentiate yourself? Right? That's the biggest challenge in the market now. Right? Everybody can communicate, everybody can create, everybody can reach out through advertisements. Then what is that differentiating point, differentiation you have as a brand? Yeah, Madhumita.
I suppose in today's market, everyone gets influenced by recommendations, whether it is government recommendations like those of ISO certification, or if it is any hygienic item, let's suppose hand wash, sanitizers. So those products are often recommended by doctors. So if in common advertisements mentioned over the television channels also, if we see, these two aspects actually let the customer get interacted and glued into our product. So if we have the recommendations as well as the certification provided to the customers, that this actually makes the customer get engaged into our product in more efficient way.
Okay, so that's very important thing. See, that's where the trust factor comes into picture, right? Because for people to trust you, these certifications, these awards, recommendations by other people, definitely they add value. Okay, that's a very valid point. But apart from that, okay, so for example, let's say if you are managing your social media channel, you don't just create one post and leave it. You need to continuously communicate with your audiences, right? In that context, what would you communicate about every day? right? You can't just always talk about your product. That would be boring,
We can
right?
actually talk about the industry that we belong to, or each
Mhm.
one belongs to.
Okay.
Uh, Sharing the knowledge about that particular industry,
Mhm.
trying to show what that industry is looking forward to, what are they into, just not about what you are giving, but about the industry as a whole. Where is it going? What are the different opportunities that have come up in that industry? That would
Mhm.
also, help showing you or differentiating you in a totally at a different standard, I would say, because people would start seeing you not only in a way that you're selling your product or services, but also they would, recognize you that you are imparting that knowledge of that particular industry, so they don't have to look somewhere else for it.
Okay.
That's what I
Wonderful.
mean.
So my next question is, see, everybody has these ideas, right? Everybody wants to communicate. But what do you think are the challenges? Why people, though they have ideas, but why they are unable to communicate? Why they are unable to, get success out of that good communication? What is stopping them? What do you think are the needed skills? Yeah.
I think we are missing a key point here. So, like, people come on to social media for entertaining, like for entertainment, to entertain themselves. So, I think there's a lack of creative entertainment aspect that marketers are lacking. So, people we have to keep up with the trends and create content that is more entertaining and that pulls the audience. That entertains the audience.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Any other ideas?
Sir, I feel one of the topmost skill that is required to have effective communication is listening.
Okay.
That will actually help you when you are a good listener. That's the one of the most important aspect. Only when
Okay.
you are an active listener you'll be able to bring up that kind of solution to what people are looking for.
That's a very valid point, because only when you listen, you actually understand. Okay. And you understand what to communicate. Okay. Listening is a very good and required skill. What else, what is actually stopping anyone to communicate better?
Sir, I feel the, thought that what other people are going to think about what we have told.
Mm.
That lack of confidence, lack of that, confidence, like, yes, we will tell our POV. Let's be open to feedbacks. So most of the people, most of the brands are like, okay, this idea we have, but if we put into in front of this audiences, how will they react to it? Are they going to react positively or negatively? Is one of the things that might be stopping, because as personal brands many people have this thing like, what will what will be the response I'm going to get?
Mhm.
Overthinking of those things, definitely stopping them. So yeah, lack of confidence, and obviously one more factor would be the lack of motivation. So some people just need a push, maybe some communicators need a push, and then they will create great communications, is what I feel.
Okay. So, any other thoughts? Akriti, do you have anything to say?
Uh, yes. So basically, I would just sum up what everyone has said, because all of these things are really important. Keeping with the right person, and then actually there are people who are very hesitant to kind of share their thoughts. Plus, Akshay has also mentioned that, maybe there is there is a lot of scope of creativity as well. So yes, people are actually looking for entertainment stuff. So we should give them something which kind of engages them, if not entertains. Something which is attractive enough so that people are motivated towards it, at least to watch that thing. Even if they don't buy it, at least we are able to just catch their attention for some time. That could actually lead to better lead generation for us.
Okay, that's very good.
I would also like to add up sometimes we face barriers when we use very overcomplicated or technical terms in our communication.
Hmm.
Now, that moves people away from that, because they if there's something which is very complicated kind of a format or communication which is there about a specific product or services, people might lose interest in seeing that or going through it. They prefer easy and simple language.
Yes, that's a very valid point. Right? That's what actually I wanted to share. The language, the choice of your words. Okay, so I would suggest, go for easier words, easier yet effective words. That's why you need to have a good hold on the vocabulary, right? You should be very clear about, the impact of the words that you're going to use. That is one skill everyone needs. How to form the sentences. Okay, so we call it as copywriting, right? So those statements, they communicate, and the right statements can actually reflect in, sales leads. Okay, so one has to improve that skill, practice that skill of writing those sales statements. That is the most important thing. Those statements you will be able to use in the advertisements, email, newsletters, even social media. Okay. And the second most important thing is your ability to design, right? This is where I see a lot of problems, issues, right? You have thoughts, but you are not able to communicate it visually, right? But of course, that's the designer's job. But today, we don't have, or we don't need to have, what do you say, specific designers to take care of our work. Everybody is a designer, everybody is a marketer, everybody is a writer. Okay, so the world is changing. Right? 20 years ago, we didn't have all these platforms. We didn't have a need to communicate, or we didn't have a chance to communicate. Now, everyone needs to know how to write, how to design, and moreover, how to create videos. Okay. But of course, we are just starting up. You will not be an expert immediately, but you need to start. You need to understand what a good design is. Okay. How to create nice graphics by using nice fonts, colors, right? So, but of course, they all come from your thoughts, right? That's why you should be able to think effectively on what to communicate. That comes from, yes, as Bela said, listening, understanding, feeling empathetic about your customers, right? When you combine all of these things, the flow will continue. The flow will start. Yes, this is what, I want to communicate with my audiences. And that is not enough, that is not complete yet. What you do, what you create, what you share is only part of the program. Thanks to digital, you can also see the response now. Right? You create, you see the response, you enhance. So this is going to be a regular cycle. Right? So those are the skills you need to have today to master this world of digital. right? So, but of course, everything starts at one step, and there needs to be a lot of practice. But more than the practice, you need to understand the basics, right? So there needs to be some kind of training, or reading exercise to train your brains on how to communicate effectively and see the effect of communication. Okay, so I guess that was a very good discussion. So thank you, Akshay, Akriti, Madhumita, Ankita, and Bela. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye.